I feel like it's been forever. It's been like forever since we streamed last. It's been like 2 weeks, probably. 2, 3 weeks. So, of course, I have to I was debating rereading this page because it's been so long since we last met. But I feel like I'm just dragging this on. So I'll just do a quick recap on it, on what we talked about last stream. I mean, you could just go watch the last stream, but no pressures. So on the well, it's kind of page 14 and 15. John Lord Berkeley and Sir George Carteret. Those were the first two original what's the word? Proprietors of New Jersey. They got deeded the land from the Duke of York, James, who eventually became King James II. But when he was the Duke at this time, his brother, King Charles II, was king, and basically recommended to him that he give these two guys some land. They also gave them land in Carolina, which was the 1663 Carolina Charter. And then they got New Jersey. But it was split between West Jersey and East Jersey. And to give people like an idea of like the different vibes, just think of it as West Jersey is South Jersey because it's made up of mostly South Jersey. And then East Jersey is North Jersey because it's made up of mostly North Jersey. But anyway, both these guys weren't really great guys. They were loyal as fuck. And loyal as fuck to the king. And that's kind of why they kept just getting rewarded even though they abused their powers and they weren't very good with money. Sir George Carteret, who was the proprietor of East Jersey, way worse of a character than John Lord Berkeley. John Lord Berkeley didn't really stick around long, actually. He sells West Jersey, his share of New Jersey, to Quakers, John Fenwick, that's the main focus of our research, actually. But I just ain't got us there yet. And I've been beating a dead horse here, and I've talked about it nonstop, but I'll say it again because it's worth noting. Sir George Carteret was an investor, owner, CEO, if you will. Maybe not, but a major investor and owner in the Royal Africa Company, which holds the record for transporting the most African slaves to the Americas out of all the transatlantic slave trade companies. Not only that, but that company also holds the record for most enslaved men, women, and children who died en route at sea, which I think the number sits somewhere around 44,000. Yeah, he's not a very cool guy. So at the end of page 15, because we like literally took like 2 weeks just for this one page, we finally get to the bottom where it kind of starts talking about John Fenwick. So today we're going to just reread it, the bottom of this page and then into page 16. There's a lot of names on 16, page 16, and today I want to try. We're going to go and research every single name on the page. Whether we get all that into this one stream or we have to do it the next stream, I don't know. Maybe I'll stream again tomorrow. But I want to try to just see a little bit of the background of these characters. And a couple of them have a title called Informer, which I was thinking about it today because it's kind of been stumping me. And I'm like, what the hell is an informer? Obviously, it's some kind of snitch. But informant, informer, informant. And I have a feeling that that's what that is. Just their version of an informant. A narc. So we're going to look that up too. All right. At the time of the Restoration, John Fenwick had fully adopted the opinions and practices of George Fox, and suffered much in person and estate therefore. In 1666, he was taken from a meeting of friends in Buckinghamshire and confined in the common jail. From some of the ancient records of cruelty to the Quakers, the following extract has been made. I want to look that up too. Cruelty to the Quakers. I've been trying to find this excerpt here that they're quoting, and I haven't been able to find it. But from some of the ancient records of cruelty to the Quakers, the following extract has been made. Bucknell, Buckshire, 17th of the 5th month, 1670. Friends being according to their usual manner met together at John Dragg's house. And the reason the date is put this way, the 17th of the 5th month, is because the Quakers were they were pretty much Puritans in a lot of sense, but they felt that like all of our months are named after like gods, different gods and stuff, deities rather, maybe that's a better word. And they feel like that's like a false idol type of situation. It goes against their beliefs. So they would just say, instead of saying the 5th month, what January, February, March, April, May, which actually wouldn't even be May, because I believe that the Quakers started their new year in March. Yeah, because I think this happened in August-ish, because later on there's another incident. Or no, if you go listen to the last stream, we looked it up and we found William Penn had some troubles too, similar to what we're about to read here. And it kind of like, I think it happened, he was like on trial with Parliament like a month after this happened, I believe. So I believe March was their new year. March, May, June, July, August. And the stuff with William Penn either happened in July or September. I know it was a month before or after. But anyway, that's why it's put that way, because they didn't want to say the names of the months, so they just said what number month it was. They met at John Dragg's house. There came in William West, informer, that's that word, and Robert Dawlins, informer, and another assistant. One of them said to the other, "Here is none that speaks. Let us go our way." And so they went forth. And a little time went into the meeting again, and the informer said, "We had best take their names," and plucked out of his pocket some small pears and threw them down and said, "Here is pears." This just sounds like a fever dream, honestly. If boys were here, they would scramble for them and laughed. So they took friends' names and went and informed Edward Sawyer, Knight and Justice, so called, who gave forth a warrant to distrain friends' goods. Although he confessed there was no speaking or praying proved. And James Gatz, constable of Binfield, assisted with two more, went to John Fenwick's and demanded of him 5 shillings for being at said meeting, and John Fenwick refused to pay. And they went away. I have so many thoughts about this right here. First of all, I don't want to really spoil the surprise that's going to come way later. But I just feel this man, John Fenwick, I feel him with this, because this is exactly how I would handle this situation. I would tell them to fuck off. They saw a group of people, and this is basically why the Quakers came to America, right? To escape persecution, quote unquote. They just saw a group of people hanging. They don't know what they were talking about. They didn't hear what they were talking about. They didn't hear if they were praying or not. They just saw a group of people who happened to be accused of being Quakers. Doesn't mean they were talking about Quaker shit, obviously, but and then they just roll up on them and they're like, pay this fine, give us this money. After the justice said that nothing could be proved, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. John Fenwick refused to pay, and they went away. And 2 days after, the said constable, assisted with John Beldam, church warden. That's crazy that churches have wardens. I wonder what that's all about. And Hugh Taylor, tithing men, came again to John Fenwick's house and climbed over his gate and endeavored to force the best horse John had over the hedge out of his ground. And McTodd, tithing men, and our servant, a cobbler, stood ready to have it away. But being discovered and ashamed, the constable went into John's stable. Hold on. But being discovered and ashamed, the constable went into John's stable and took a pair of harness worth 11 shillings for 5 shillings. And so, like thieves, they went back over his gate again, greatly rejoicing in what they had done. This is bananas. This is bananas, man. Church folks, right? The church warden, a couple of the tithing men, assistants, trespass onto John Fenwick's property, try to steal his best horse, couldn't get it over the hedge, and went back and just stole 11 shillings worth of property, which is over double the fine, the bullshit fine that they were trying to charge him with. Church folk trying to steal people's horses for the I don't know, Parliament, the king. I don't know. To be truthful, they always pointed their fingers at each other. Damn. I can't get over it. That's so trippy. This is going to be a joke one day. I'm going to write a bit about this. one day I'm just talking shit, honestly. But one day I'm gonna have a whole hour's worth of just history jokes, history bits rather, because this shit's bananas. But it also kind of gives you the vibe of like what was happening at the time, and also goes to remind us all why freedom of religion is a good thing. How good of a thing it is, we take that for granted. I personally think that state and church should stay out of, away from each other. But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, these dudes just had different beliefs, which really wasn't just different beliefs because really, I don't know. Let's look this up real quick. What King Charles was, because it kind of the country religion bounced back and forth between Catholicism and Angelicalism. That's probably not the way to say that word. What religion was King Charles II? Oh, I think that had something to do with a lady he wanted to marry. It says King Charles II of England converted to Catholicism on his deathbed in 1685. But they were Protestant, right? Because his dad got his head cut off. His grandfather, King James I, is who had the King James version of the Bible written. 1611, I think, or 1618, one of those. Maybe 1611, then revised in 1618. Which is interesting. Growing up in a cult, my stepdad loved the King James version of the Bible, and he like swore by that shit because they like take a lot of pride, like King Jamesers, I call them, take a lot of pride in the fact that the King James Bible hasn't been revised since like 1618, so it's like untouched and like still original to that 1611. I think I got these dates right. 1611 Bible. But there was like a lot of transcripts left out. And a lot of scribes, that's probably not what they were called, kept informing King James that like they were missing certain transcripts, and he didn't care. He pushed that shit through. Interesting guy, King James. There's some theories that he might have even been a Moor and had Arab descent, which is actually a really cool thing. I've been learning, like probably the last month and a half I've been like in this deep rabbit hole just trying to like research and like understand Arab hate and Islam hate and all that, and studying like the history of different empires and how things like took place, and it's all very, very interesting. And not anything we were taught in school, like nothing at all, completely bananas. I derailed myself with that. So I I got here by just saying that, like, what they believed wasn't even really all that different. um, England went back and forth between being Protestant and Catholic. And we get like the Church of England, like the Angelical Church or whatever they, Anglical. Let's just look it up. I'm totally wasting time here too, by the way. Church of England. Anglican. Oh, I could have just. Where's the little pronouncey thing? Anglican. The reason they became Anglican was because they were tired of the Pope's shit. So they were like, fuck you guys. We're going to do the same shit that you're doing, but we're not going to be Catholic. We're going to be Anglican. And instead of a Pope, our king's the Pope. Well, actually, I think they kind of went back and forth by having like bishops and popes of their own. And then sometimes the king just kind of like took over and was like, this is my shit. And so these guys were just another version of Puritans. And they basically believed in the same God, the same Christian gospels. Basically all the same shit. And it was just that the Puritans were way more stricter in their like their beliefs with it and like keeping true to it. And that's why they didn't get down with slavery. They were against slavery. Although they were still very, very racist, which I'll expose later. There's like, what is the word? Shit gets kind of crazy later. You're just like, whoa. Fucking church people try to steal this man's horse. That's fucking crazy. Okay. Like many others of his religious belief, he published in pamphlet form several answers to others against their doctrines and manner of worship, none of which, however, have been preserved to the present, which is heartbreaking. I would fucking do anything to like. You should see me when I go to like a historical society, and they got like an old deed that John Fenwick wrote. Like, I've held a couple in my hands, and they're fucking awesome. They're so cool. I would fucking go nuts if one of these pamphlets just like popped up somewhere. It's been like sitting under a floorboard in Stanton Old Hall, Stanton Manor, England somewhere, and they find it one day. I don't know. A boy can dream. No denomination of Christians, perhaps at that day, put so much printed matter before the public, in defense and vindication of their peculiar views as friends. Joseph Smith of London has, after many years of labor, collected, arranged, and published a large majority of the titles to these, and as far as possible, discovered and given the authors' names. Alright, so let's dive. Also, I I'm listening to music in my ear because I fucking love lo-fi, and I've been getting into EDM lately. Um, EDM's cool as shit. Uh, I keep getting muted and flagged on everything. TikTok flags me, and it's all supposed to be copyright free music, but a business partner of mine warned me about this actually, but I like to learn the hard way. If there's anyone who knows how to make music and knows how to make like funky, groovy little like just lo-fi type shit, you got some throwaway beats or whatever that I could just like play while I'm streaming, that would be a huge vibe. Give you shout outs, promote you. Alright, let's find out what an informer is. An instructor, a teacher, an advisor. No. A person who informs against another, originally more fully common informer. A person who lays an information against an offender and is paid by the crown or plaintiff for doing so, especially a person who makes a living from this. Now historical, now usually a person who gives information to the police. I'm not going to get all crazy like, oh my god, I knew that. Because that was pretty obvious, and I'm a little ashamed how long it took me to actually make that connection. Alright, so now we know that these dudes are narcs. Ancient records of cruelty. No. Cruelty to the Quakers. Records of cruelty to the Quakers. Quaker Sufferings Records. An embarrassed de Riches? No. Richeze? Richeze. I'm pretty sure that's Cheze. Like Cheze Farms in Aldine. Richeze. Embarrassed de Richeze. Readers of early Quaker literature cannot fail to be aware of the history of religious persecution of the Quakers in the 17th century. Although the Act of Toleration of 1689 marked the end of its most extreme forms, Quakers continued to be subject to confiscation of goods, fines, and imprisonment for refusing to pay church tithes or take oaths, and to be excluded from public office. Friends assiduously recorded these sufferings at a local and national level from early on. These accounts were both a record of conformity to Quaker public testimonies and grist to the mill of an energetic campaign for legislative change. The library holds a profusion of published and unpublished sources on Quaker sufferings, described by one historian as embarrassed de richesse. This post is an outline of some of the most important. The Great Books of Suffering are a series of 44 elephant folio-sized manuscript volumes ranged along 6 meters of sturdy metal shelving in the library's strong rooms. How we read it? Search catalog. Let's see. Major. I don't know if he would have been called Major. I don't know if he would have been called Major by the Quakers. See, we're gonna read this book probably next. So what we read in that book probably he probably found that in these records. Why were the Quakers so despised? Yeah. For their nonconformity in religion, but also for their rejection of social hierarchy and their tendency to address everyone as an equal. I like the Quakers were pretty cool actually. It's surprising that they're like not really around in a bigger form that they like how other religions kept growing or other denominations. I, you never really hear much about the racism with Quakers, um, cause like mostly like I guess when you're comparing it to comparing them to their peers, the Quakers were mostly pretty cool people because they really did believe they believed that like God was in charge of their life and God was the only one that they like answered to in a sense, and they definitely believed in everyone being equal. That's why here, like the Northeast, or if you live anywhere in the original 13 colonies, mostly the Northeast, a lot of old colonial towns that are like sitting around have old meeting houses still there. And if you notice, all of them have two doors on the front. One was a man door for the males, and then the other one was a door for the females. And not because like they believed that they couldn't walk through the same door. It was actually symbolic to show that what they believed was that men and women were equal, and they came into partnership with equal responsibility. And so the double doors was just like a symbolic way of saying that, like, um, we both, male and female, we both walk into this building as equals. They didn't believe in slavery and stuff. William Penn was mostly cool, like to the natives and everything. His son, I don't think so much. William Penn, I believe, owned slaves. I haven't found anything on John Fenwick yet, but I'm not going to be surprised if shit jumps out the bag. John, let's look up the first guy. That's the first name, right? Let's see. They met at John Dragg's house. Let's write the date. 17th of 5th month. 1670. John Drag. So he was obviously a Quaker. John Drag. Let's try 1670. Try England. Quakers meeting at John Dragg's. I put Frags. House. I'll be right back. Burgers for the boys. Burgers for the boys. Burgers for the boys. I had to take a bite of my burger because I'm a fatty. I think the last time I was looking this up, I couldn't find shit on this guy, and I think I got frustrated, and that was when I just gave up altogether that night. Anyway, I'm gonna put question marks next to his name. Maybe one day we'll come across that. Alright, who's next? William West. And Robert. Oh shit. Dollins. Informer. Born in 45, he'd have been like 20 something. No. That's not. That's not him. What is this? Petition of Henry West, a planter of Virginia, now in England, in behalf of himself and brother to the king. William West was seduced to accept a commission under the late rebel Bacon against the Indians who had inhumanly murdered petitioner's parents about 30 years since. Nope, that's that Virginia dude again. See if the other name comes up. Nope. Question marks against them too. I'd really like to know sources. These old books didn't really have to have sources. I forget when that law came into effect. Who else? What's the next name? Edward Sawyer. He's a knight, so he honestly should pop up, even if it don't have anything to do with what we're trying to find here. See what this is. Uh-oh. I'm not a robot. Nope. Come on. That's some bullshit. No, I don't want to click on it again. I want to report it. There we go. Let's look up list of justices in England 1670. What was it? Bucking Berkshire. Nope, that's not him either. just going by the last name. So we need S. No. I don't see these guys. Okay. Let's try this. What is this? Nothing. John Beldam. Church warden. Alright, first let's see. What is a church warden? Alright, they are a lay official in the parish or congregation of Anglican. Fuck it. Communion or Catholic Church. They are responsible for maintaining church property and records, ensuring church life is healthy, representing laity, promoting unity and peace among parishioners, maintaining order and decency in the church and churchyard, being trustees of a charity. Anyway. John Belden, church warden, 1670. Nothing. Alright, last two guys. Fuck it. Then we're out of here. Hugh Taylor and Mick Todd. Tithing men. And cobblers, actually. Cobblers means they were shoe guys. Profession, I think. Nonconformity. Is this another book? Last one. Nope. Alright, so we couldn't find no information on any of these guys. Which really doesn't really mean much to me. I just kind of wanted to I just like shining a flashlight on every little crevice of a rabbit hole. Maybe there's maybe there's hints or leads or information, cool information that we just otherwise would have never found. This last paragraph here, I'm going to reread it and into the next page and just give you thoughts on it. Like many others of his religious belief, he published in pamphlet form several answers to others against their doctrines and manner of worship, none of which, however, have been preserved to the present. No denomination of Christians, perhaps at that day, put so much printed matter before the public in defense and vindication of their peculiar views as friends. Joseph Smith of London has, after many years of labor, collected, arranged, and published a large majority of the titles to these, and as far as possible discovered and given the authors' names. We can look up Joseph Smith real quick. This is interesting. The whole debate and thing. writing pamphlets to answer to other doctrines and stuff. Sounds like some like apologetics type shit. Feels very Presbyterian. What we doing? Did this say John Smith? Joseph Smith. Is that how you spell it? No. Oh, that's Latter-day Saints. Nah, that's not who they're talking about. Of London. Let's try 1670. Nope. Alright, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go bed. I guess tonight wasn't really all that exciting. I'm gonna let us move on. Our next stream right here starts getting into John Lord Berkeley conveying the land of John Fenwick. New content coming out. Linktree/Ace Ford. Go check out all my stuff. The 1st of February, a new episode on the Ace Ford podcast is coming out. There's a recent episode on the Bro Therapy Show that came out last week. And I'm probably going to drop a couple pictures from my Grapevine photo shoot this week on my Instagram. Linktree/Ace Ford. Thanks for hanging.